This is a recording. Good morning, you guys. This is a recording that I typically do as I do my chores in the mornings, wiping down my car, taking out the garbage, what do you name it. I try to multitask, as a lot of you guys know, as much as possible. Okay, and while I'm doing so, I record these podcasts and different things to keep you guys abreast of what's going on in the traditional markets, crypto markets, etc. One thing that we want to highlight today is what's going on in the crypto space versus traditional markets and how they relate, if they do at all. Okay, so what we're talking about today is the traditional economy is experiencing just a few things that sort of stand out and you want to be aware of, you want to be prepared for, just in case. Okay, I think we have a fiduciary responsibility to our children and our families to make absolutely sure that we handle our finances and and such, that we can just be the type of stewards of the monies for our families and businesses as much as possible. And you do that by actually keeping an eye on the money, basically, okay? And knowing about the economy as much as possible. So what's happening right now in the traditional economy, some of the things that you want to be aware of is that corporate loans or corporate debt, it seems to be increasing at a very, very rapid pace. In other words, we hear about earnings from corporate America, and they seem to be strong. They seem to be very good as far as the reports are concerned. But a lot of economists and a lot of people are actually more concerned about corporate debt. In other words, when Apple goes out and borrows a shitload of money, when IBM, Microsoft, when whatever companies, when they go out and purchase or when they go out and borrow tons of money, and that money seems to be growing at a higher rate as compared to their actual earnings, that's an issue for a lot of people in terms of why that debt is adding up so quickly. And the potential problem is basically that a lot of bond investors are shunning this debt because the returns aren't there. They don't seem to be producing the type of returns that the investors want. So as you get more liability associated with the corporate debt, as you get more liability associated with the pension funds and such, then that becomes an issue. Okay, pension fund liability in the public sector is at astronomical levels, and a lot of people are unfortunately uneasy about the level of public pension debt and liability, and they're warning about that. They're warning about private pension fund liabilities in terms of whether or not that's going to be paid. People are warning us all the time about the entitlement programs, the Social Security, the Medicare, Medicaid. We just talked to some representatives in the Social Security Administration and the offices of the Social Security, and they have definitely agreed that the ability to fund and pay out is going to be very, very risky, very, very shaky in the very near future. By 2026, they're anticipating that could be an issue. That could be a problem, okay? So going forward, you want to keep in mind that these entitlement programs, public pension funds, automobile loans, subprime loans are like $1 trillion industry. Most of those subprime loans are given to people who have very, very, very bad credit, and the automobile loans themselves are going further and further out in duration. In other words, if you once had 3 to 5 year loan terms for automobile financing, now you have 5, 7, maybe 10 years. Automobile loans, and people typically, there's a very high risk of default when you have a longer loan term as compared to a shorter long term, shorter loan term. Okay, when your financing goes out to 17 years, that's a greater risk where you can default, where you can have issues paying the car loans. Anyway, when you have this much liability, $1 trillion in subprime car loans, because these are the worst borrowers imaginable, subprime. That's a liability, another issue that's got to be dealt with, okay? And that could drag down the economy. Higher interest rates going up. That means excuse the noise, that means the interest rate on your car loan, the interest rate on your car loan, the interest rate on your house, the interest rate on your credit cards. These things have to go up. Okay, that means more and more people are going to be struggling to pay off that house, pay down those credit cards, pay off those pay off the credit card debt. That these are issues that worry a lot of people, and also credit card companies are experiencing major loan defaults. A lot of people are getting behind in the credit card payments. A lot of credit card companies are seeing more and more chargebacks that they can't handle. When you get an abundance of chargebacks from credit card users who are actually credit card abusers, when they buy things they can't afford, they do a chargeback. The merchant gets hit. The credit card companies have to step in and refund monies back. And like we've seen with Amazon, if you haven't read it already, believe it or not, Amazon is actually flagging people who seem to be abusing their credit card privileges. So when you return merchandise over and over, you return large ticket items, when you return certain things, Amazon, they're taking a look at that. They're trying to figure out whether or not you're a good customer or not, and they're flagging a lot of those accounts. So we could see a lot of Amazon customers actually get their membership canceled or put on some sort of restriction or notice or something because of those, the dramatic amount of returns that come back to Amazon. So anyway, a lot of customers are doing this, not only with Amazon, but a lot of different companies. They don't have the money, they don't have the finances. They're going out charging things, and they're buying things, and they're returning them in large amounts, and that's hurting the economy, hurting industries, hurting retail merchants and such. The escalation of gas prices is producing a dramatic tax, if you will, on the incomes of people. So when you get paid a certain amount of money, even though President Trump passed a tax bill, putting more money into your pocket, you have to pay out that money and even more in higher gas prices, okay? So there's a number of things that are definitely negatives, and we suggest that a lot of you try to look at the crypto space, try to diversify your assets. If the traditional economy is, if it implodes at some point and it becomes too much of a struggle to survive in the traditional economy, remember the crypto markets are developing. The crypto markets are just like the internet in 1986 or whatever, and it was just getting started, barely growing, and everybody was afraid that it wasn't going to pan out, and everybody got it wrong, and we think the crypto markets are the same. The Bitcoins, Litecoins, Ethereums, all these cryptocurrencies seem to be gaining more and more traction. The developers are working as hard as ever on Bitcoin, making it strong, making it fast, making it cheap, keeping it censorship resistant, keeping it peer-to-peer, keeping it decentralized. And just make sure you guys also understand your central banks of the world, even the Federal Reserve, is going to try to replace the retail banking sector when your traditional banks are competing with central banks, somebody's going to lose. And we think your retail bank, your local retail bank, and your local commercial banks, they're probably going to lose this battle going forward to central bankers. Central bankers want to issue their own cryptocurrency. So if the central bankers create their own cryptocurrency, they're going to be able to bypass the retail bank. Okay, they're going to bypass Citibank, bypass Bank of America, bypass HSBC, bypass Wells Fargo. In other words, the central bankers will issue their own cryptocurrency. It won't be peer-to-peer. It won't be decentralized. It won't be censorship resistant. But it will be such that they can control who gets to spend what, where, and whatever amount. So it's going to be very, very easy to control you, very easy to tax you, very easy to track and trace and surveil you using central bank issued digital currencies, okay? Otherwise known as shitcoins. Anyway, there's a few things that are going on. Make sure that you're prepared and that you do your research in the crypto markets as an alternative, okay? Because Wall Street right now, I think, is very, very threatened, but very, very excited about the potential when it comes to cryptocurrencies. But everyone wants to be prepared. Everyone wants to make sure that they understand the consequences and the benefits and the advantages going forward, okay? Bitcoin is actually like 10 years old, and it seems to be surviving. It seems to be hanging in there. And the price is getting lower. The price has come down, okay? But don't let that make you too nervous, because this could be an opportunity, and it could be, at the same time, something that just distracts from the fundamental benefits of the technology. Sometimes, you look at the price too much and you get nervous, you get scared, but that has more to do with the short-term impact. That has nothing to do with the long-term potential of Bitcoin. So make sure that you guys are prepared, and make sure that you, again, stay abreast of what's going on in the crypto space, because we feel like the traditional economy is self-destructing and very, very negative and very, very disadvantageous to the traditional taxpayer, to the consumers, to the population in general. And we think it's time to step out of that losing situation with the traditional economy, and look at what the crypto space has to offer, okay? So anyway, we're going to cut this video. I think we've said a few things, and hopefully you guys can do further research, have further discussions, go to meetups and such to learn about the advantages as we make the transition from the fiat-based system with this overprinting, quantitative easing, and all of these things, and we make that transition over to the crypto space, where math dictates what can be done, what can't be done, and all of that. Anyway, you guys have a great day, and we'll talk later. Bye.